know, way too quiet.
I know, right? Well, welcome everyone to our regular meeting for the City Council of the City of Perry. Let's go ahead and call our meeting to order and have roll call.
Coffee. Bledsoe.
Here.
Marshall. Davis. Coldiron. Rupp.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
O'Shea. Here. Wortham.
Here. We barely have quorum. All right, well, let's go ahead and start off tonight with our invocation, which will be by Pastor Steve. We invite you to come on up.
Just right here?
Stand over there.
Oh, come stand over here, right in the middle. Everybody's got to see you.
A certain spot that gets the power, huh?
That's right.
That's right.
Let's pray, okay? It's fantastic being here, by the way. Thank you very much. Father in heaven, thank you so much for the opportunity to have another day to live for you. Thank you, Lord, for everybody that's here tonight. As they make decisions tonight, Lord, and as we all make decisions every day, may we follow your commands, and that is to love you with all of our hearts, with all of our being, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And in doing that, Lord, I believe we'll do the right thing. So bless the ones that are here tonight. Bless the decisions that are made. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. So before you run away, so usually what we like to do is, come on up there, Brett. Yeah.
Yeah, come on up, Brett.
Come on up. So usually what we like to do is give the pastor an opportunity to share what's going on with your church, with your congregation. You guys have events coming up? How are things going?
Yeah, it's going real good. Our main event right now is we've got a big youth encounter that is going to be July 15th and 16th, open to the whole community, the youth of the whole community, and we're real excited about it. It's going to be fantastic. Wednesday, Thursday night, 15th and 16th.
Excellent. All right.
Yep.
Thank you. Well, we do have something special as well for this evening, so we're going to do a proclamation before we jump into our meeting. And it reads as so. Whereas Steve Smith has faithfully served the citizens of Perry, Oklahoma for more than 3 decades through his leadership, volunteerism, and commitment to helping others. And whereas Steve Smith has been an active and dedicated pastor of the Church of the Nazarene in Perry for 34 years, moving into his 35th, contributing his time, talents, and leadership in service to his church and community. And whereas Steve Smith has served as treasurer of the Perry Ministerial Alliance for more than 20 years, helping coordinate assistance and support for individuals and families facing hardship. And whereas through his work with the Perry Ministerial Alliance, Steve Smith has helped oversee the distribution of an estimated $300,000 in assistance for utility bills, transportation, groceries, rent, and other emergency needs for residents of Perry and the surrounding area. And whereas Steve Smith has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to serving others, improving the quality of life in the community, and meeting the needs of those facing difficult circumstances. And whereas Steve Smith and his wife Debbie have made Perry their home, raised their family here, and invested their lives in strengthening the community and supporting its citizens. And whereas Steve Smith's example of integrity, compassion, generosity, and selfless service has positively impacted countless individuals and families throughout Perry. Now, therefore, I, Lawrence Wortham, Mayor of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, do hereby proclaim July 13th, 2026 as Steve Smith Day.
That kind of takes the words out of your mouth.
Does it?
We don't need to
I
speak.
thought this was for him.
I know, I need to ask forgiveness because I told Steve that this was going to be for Brett, and he was just offering the invocation for him.
That's right. Yeah, I would have worn my suit. Well, thank you very much. Such kind words, and way beyond what I've ever done. But Perry is our home, always will be. Even though we don't live here, it's still our home. And it's just been a real privilege. So thank you very much.
You go up there and get a picture of you presenting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Amen.
And Josh and Brett, we'll get you guys in.
And these are the best people in the world. I almost forgot. Dave?
like,
What are these guys from the church doing?
This is not for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just put him in the
I
way.
can't get it.
Put him in away?
Nope, you're good.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
This is for you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. You're welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Wow, okay. Wow, wow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Should we take a quick recess?
Yeah,
Let them, yeah.
you can, you're the
I'll make a
presiding
motion that
officer.
we have a quick recess. Everyone,
I'll second that.
all right?
Okay. I gotta find the names that actually work. Bledsoe.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea. Well,
Yes. Randy gets back, we'll get going.
But we keep up on trimming our
You're gonna have to
big
flip away from
trees
me.
to make sure that.
I've got it up too.
They got a little time, right? It's
Right.
like looking.
I know, I'm trying to guess what's happening.
Keep your poker faces open.
There's a lot of complaining here for being down for a few hours. But the
That's where I
24
got
is, of course, you
Or if
know.
you cheer, make sure it's not your friends.
For 8 days.
Would you like to straighten up, tuck your shirt in? All right, well, let's jump back in. I'll make a motion that we reconvene. Second that.
And Bledsoe.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right, we'll jump back into our meeting. Item 1, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right, we will jump down to item number 5, our reports. We'll start with Austin.
I don't have a lot. I would just say thank you to the electric department. I know they put in lots and lots of hours over the past couple weeks and very greatly appreciated.
Yeah, especially over the holiday.
Definitely.
Thank you, Austin. Shay?
No, the same, and not just that department, but and the administration, everyone who's affected by that and communicates and all of that.
Yeah. Joe?
I don't have anything right now.
Randy?
I don't have anything new. I've had several people though that said thank you for the, just from all the damage that was
Yeah.
out there, that they were able to get it put together as quickly as they did. So thank you everybody that put that together.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, you can definitely pass that along to the Perry Power Rangers, as they're named now. We all appreciate them.
That's so funny.
All right. We'll go on to item number 6, our city manager remarks and updates.
I don't have a lot. I usually like to fill this out well in advance, but with everything going on, it's been really busy. Just wanted to let everybody know with the recent storms, and this has been in the works for a little while, but we are doing a drainage evaluation on many of the problemed areas and looking, hey, what can we do to help with future storms? Obviously, there's storms that no drainage system would be prepared for, right? But this is a good opportunity to evaluate and look and say, well, what can be done in these problemed areas? So if you have any input on that, please reach out. We'll look at our list and see if it's already on there or added. If not, and yeah, thanks again to our departments. They did awesome and put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, and just grateful to have such amazing employees. So the last thing I'd say in conjunction with that is limb pickup. This has been the biggest storm that I've seen, or the second biggest storm that I've seen since being here, in terms of downed limbs and trees and things like that. Crews picked up a lot of limbs this morning. If you still have limbs in your yard, if you want to get them out by the curb, they are taking calls, adding names to a list and going up and picking up those limbs. And that is specifically for the storm damage. We have some other limb pickup programs if you're just trimming or whatever, and that's not what this is for. So
Are
that's
they
all I
doing
have.
that all week or just for a couple days? Or
Just for a couple of days, yeah.
Okay.
They're kind of play by ear. They knocked out a ton today. They still have a little bit left. But we wanted to let everyone know so that they had an opportunity, to add their name to the list if they want to knock it out in the next couple of days.
Gotcha. So just call City Hall.
Yep, call City Hall. And that's all I have unless there's other questions for me.
Council? No? All right.
Council.
Thank you, Nate. Let's go on to item number 7, consideration and possible action to approve a professional services agreement with Cimarron Valley Engineering LLC for engineering design services related to the City of Perry booster pump station water system improvements serving the 12-inch water line loop. So this is part of that grant that we got, right?
It is, yeah. There's really nothing controversial here. In fact, our engineer was going to come tonight, and I told him, hey, probably don't worry about it. This is a grant. We'll pay for this full project. No city funds are coming out of it. And if this is approved tonight, we'll begin the design work on it within the next 30 days and just move it along the pipeline with the other water projects we have. So
So we don't get to hear from Matt tonight?
no.
We would
His
be here
father's in
till
the
10:30.
hospital. Yeah, there's an issue.
No, he really was planning on coming. I did tell him, hey, don't worry about it. But he is available by phone if you guys have questions.
So this services so like Amazon.
Really, most of it, all the west loop. So it does, yeah. It starts with Ditch Witch kind of, and then goes up, hits those restaurants, goes around to Amazon, and then it actually loops around to the other side of I-35, that other exit to, and hits that new pilot. So it kind of captures all of the larger I-35 corridor area. So,
That'd be good.
I move that we approve the engineering work.
Second. Okay. Roll call.
Bledsoe.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Okay, item 8, we're going to have a presentation of the residential opinion survey that was conducted not too long ago, a few months ago, from our city manager intern.
Yeah,
So the
Kaylee,
floor
if you wanna
is
come up and
yours.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kaylee. I am the emergency management intern, so you know me. Hi, if you don't, I do. I am going to apologize in advance. Speaking publicly is not my strong suit, so forgive me. But yeah, I think that's what I have for an intro.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about what you're studying and kind of what your future plans are?
Yeah, so I am technically a senior at OSU this year. I am a double major in management and marketing, and I'm kind of between a master's or law school, hopefully working in public administration or civil in some way, shape, or form. So hopefully this internship will kind of guide that decision a little bit more. So we'll see in the next year, I guess, where I end up. But yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions for Kaylee for the intro?
Where are you from?
I'm from Mustang originally, so about an hour and a half-ish south of here.
Well, I will give you my laptop. Sorry, I just barely thought of that. And let me pull up your presentation real quick. And Tyson, if you'll connect so that people can see it, that'll work.
Okay, so this is essentially just all of the data that's been collected from the residents that actually filled it out. So it's obviously not going to cover everyone. And a lot of this is just comparing the 2025 to the 2026 responses we got, so we can understand where we're going in the future, what we're doing good at, and what we need to be improving on. So like I said, multiple questions. A lot of them are just regarding the town in general. Specifically, some of them are satisfaction with city officials, satisfaction with Perry businesses, the town services, the roads, and plenty more. So silence your devices, get comfortable. We have a lot to cover. And then this is just kind of to help me, nothing crazy. Again, just we're going to cover where it's thriving and then what may need more attention in the next fiscal year. We will follow up with ideas on how to address the main concerns given the statistics, and how we can better improve those for current Perry residents and anybody who may decide to move in the future. Again, array of information, road maintenance to amenities, and I do want to state that there were 253 people that took the 2026 survey compared to the 325 people in 2025. So it's not going to be exactly accurate, just because of the difference in responses, but
there is still statistical significance with both
yes,
those numbers.
yeah. And then just to kind of let you all understand how the survey was run, majority of the questions were phrased as statements, and if they were not statements, they were yes or no responses. The statements options were strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. These charts are percentages comparing them to the results received for the 2025 survey, and then some of them are just numbers broken down from just the 2026 survey, which I will clarify as we get there. And then some of them are just, oh, I didn't like that. So our demographics, these gray, or those gray surveys are going to be just the 2026 data. So 36 to 45 was the most common age range among the residents. It was the same one in 2025, but it did go up a little bit in 2026, so we still have that same age range taking those surveys. And similarly with the wards, fairly evenly split, and it was very similar to 2025, and there was only a drop of 25 residents located in Ward 1, and then Ward 3 went up 17 people, so I don't know if that was new people coming in or just people moving around, but yeah. And then, so these were some of the more important questions. These were placed at the very beginning of the survey. So through the 2026 survey, 143 of the 253 residents felt that Perry was a good place to live. And that data is aggregated, so it will be the agree and the strongly disagree combined. And then, yeah, okay. So majority of the people that do think Perry is a good place to live also think that we are going in the right direction and that Perry is going to continue to grow in a positive way, which is definitely what we want. And then based on the negative answers received, those that don't believe Perry is a good place to live still seem to believe that we are moving in the right direction, as the negative numbers are dropping and neutral numbers are rising, which we don't necessarily want to be in the neutral, but it's definitely better than being in the negative. So, all right. And then similarly with these, all of the percentages are aggregated, so strongly agree and agree are together, and then same thing with disagree and strongly disagree. So safety-wise, 73.12% of citizens agree that they felt safe within Perry, and only 17.8% of residents who disagreed. And then we had about 15% within the neutral. So overall, pretty decent. We would obviously like to raise that 17% to at least to the neutral category if we could, ideally, if not the agree category. So we definitely want to figure out what exactly is making citizens feel unsafe. So that would be a great place to start, and possibly a question to add to next year's survey is kind of like a follow-up, like, do you feel safe? If not, why? And then family friendliness. Again, majority of people agree that Perry is a good place to raise a family. And the second most common response was 25.69% in the neutral category. So we do have about 80% of Perry feeling remotely positive about that, which is good.
So those, is there any way to, I mean, are these questions generic enough, used in other city surveys that we can compare ourselves across cities? Or is it truly just a tool for us to use internally?
It's really a tool for, I mean, you would have to have cities ask pretty much the same questions, right? And we could look at other resident opinion surveys and see, but we haven't done that. I know of one other city that has really similar questions, so we could compare to them at least.
In response to that, I'm sure we could probably get like similar to a few cities with just like the first like probably 10 questions that were answered. They were pretty generic, and then like the further we get down, they do break more into Perry specifics based on like our parks and things like that. Attractive wise, 32.55% of people feel that Perry is not physically attractive, with 32.02% of people who felt neutral about it. So don't have great ratings on that, unfortunately, but at least it is something that we do know. So moving forward, that is something we can work on. But there is still that 30% who think Perry is physically attractive, so it's not nothing. But it's definitely, that's something we would want to focus on. Businesses were a big issue. This is where we saw a really big drop in the 2025 compared to the 2026. When Perry residents were asked if we have the type of businesses that they want, 59.68% of people disagreed, and a second response of 25.30% in the neutral, and only 15% of residents felt satisfied with what's available here. So I don't, as I'm not from Perry, I don't know if that's just like something to do with the responses changing, or if like business is closed maybe, but hopefully something we can work on moving forward as Perry grows, we get new businesses, etc. Service quality. This is mostly relating to, I believe, just kind of the police department, fire department, cemetery just as a whole, which will be further broken down in the next few slides. But 46.25% of residents agreed that they were satisfied with the quality of services, with 27.67% of people disagreeing. So the neutral and the disagree category were pretty evenly split. So we are still ranking highest in the agree, and that citizens are satisfied with the services and the quality of that. But we do definitely still want to work on at least raising disagree to a neutral, because we don't want the neutral to be so evenly split with the disagree. Commuting wise, 253 responses stated that 67.59% of people do not commute outside of Perry to work. I think that's a pretty good chunk of people, so there's obviously jobs available with Perry, like within Perry, which is a good sign. Keeps your tax dollars in the city. That's what we want. 26.88% of people stated that they do not commute for work, and then we also had a rather not answer option on here that was 5.5% or 5.53% of people. Me and Nate talked about this, maybe next year adding to the survey an answer response such as I don't work, because a lot of people that is pretty common, so it would just be another way to make sure that that data is as accurate as possible. And then here are those comparison graphs. I can zoom in on any particular one if y'all would like, but you can kind of just see how the answers have changed over the year. The blue will be 2025 and the red bars will be 2026.
Can you zoom on
What's
those?
the bottom left?
Yeah, zoom in.
Bottom left. Making sure we have the same.
So 25 is blue.
25 is blue, yes.
So 25 people thought that we had the type of businesses that they would want, and then 26 it flipped.
Yeah.
That was one of the
So we
interesting
don't have the
ones.
types of businesses that people want?
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
We theorized on that one because that was one of the only ones where we actually saw a drop from 25 to 26. And we theorized that maybe people last year didn't know what was possible. And with all the stuff we've been talking about, like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring this, we're gonna bring that. They're like, oh, they can bring the types of businesses I want. So, yeah, we don't have them. You know, before they just accepted, yeah, Perry's just small, and if you want to do X, you have to leave. But we obviously don't know for sure.
I think you're close. I mean, I think all the things that have been happening, it's raised the expectation.
Go to the top one, Kaylee. Zoom in again. Feel safe, okay.
So let's move the drop.
Yeah, that was a drop too.
Yeah.
Feel safe and Perry. Well, slight increase in the strongly agree, but agree dropped.
Rather than waiting a year to do the survey again, and maybe Nate year to year doing this, but is there a way we can dig into that a little more? Maybe focus groups, maybe something that we can find, try to get an answer rather than waiting for it to see if it changes.
Yeah, that might be a way. I've never tried that. I'd have to look into it.
Yeah.
Do like a quarterly survey.
Yeah, you just want to be careful about survey fatigue.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Scroll over, let's look at the, is it a great place to raise a family, pay increases. Keep going over. Perry's physically attractive, so slight increases. Okay, now down. Commuting, okay, and then over one. Southside was quality of services. Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah, these are interesting.
Yeah, I do have more general satisfaction graphs, sorry guys. So all of these I think are more on the positive side, financial footwork.
Yeah, that Perry is a good place to live. Looks like we're pulling more from the negative from last year
Yes.
into the positive by quite a bit.
Yeah, those are big jumps.
Yeah.
When you aggregate those are big jumps. And then headed in the right direction. Same thing there.
Oh, that's another one.
Really big jump.
We're pulling more from the disagrees to the agrees.
Consider before major decisions.
It's moving more towards the neutral, but
Yeah,
still.
still some right there.
Good news for y'all.
Oh, approve the work of the mayor and city council. So strongly disagrees went slightly down, but you had
That's a lot of neutral.
a lot more agrees. You guys still got a lot of fence sitters.
Here we go, keep going.
That mayor, he's just
I know.
Yeah.
So
Did you put my picture on there? Well, a lot of disagreement. See that?
Yeah, so utilities are kind of doing the same thing. We're dropping in the disagree, and most of that seems to be going to the agree because the neutral is just so similar.
years.
Sounds like city communications.
Survey over
This
this.
one.
Good increase in detail. Yeah, some really good increase.
Oh, that's another one that's been pulling from the disagrees and the agrees.
And that's your strategic plan?
Okay, our top performers, this is just based on 2026, but a lot of these were very, very similar for 2025. So residents strongly approve of the quality of the city library with only a total of 8 people in the disagree and strongly disagree categories combined. Similarly with the fire service, we're doing a little bit better over there. We have 0 people in the strongly disagree and only 1 person disagreed with the quality of the fire service.
Here you go, Ben.
EMS is also pretty close. We do have 4 in the disagree and 1 in the strongly disagree. So all of our agrees and positive responses are definitely carrying in these categories. So definitely doing well there. And then these all fell a little bit lower. Still strong performers, but just not as strong of an approval rating. So we have police. Their highest response category was agree with 37.55 in the approval and then 29.25 in the strong approval. So there's still about 50% of people that are going to be sitting in that disagree and neutral category. So animal control, people didn't really have a lot to say about this one. So I don't know if animal control just isn't like very frequently used here, and maybe that's why. But it is ranked neutrally with 37.94 in the neutral and 29.25 in the approval. So again, another 50% of people just in the disagree or strongly agree category, but most of them will be falling in the disagree category. Cemetery, doing pretty decent there, 34.39 approval rating and a 33.20 neutrality. So not sure exactly what to do, what you could be doing with the cemetery. Kind of one of those things where you can only do so much to improve that. Can't please everybody, fortunately. Code enforcement, we are ranked neutrally with 36.76 in the neutrality and 23.32 disapproval. I will say off the top of my head about code enforcement, a lot of people just complained about unequal enforcement. So code would go to one house and say you can't do that, but if their next door neighbor's doing it, it was fine. That was a lot of what I saw with code. So maybe just working on more equally enforcing everybody or not at all, almost. And then here are those comparison graphs with the police, the cemetery, animal control, and code enforcement.
So police increase neutral and increase with agree, but saw a slight decrease in strongly agrees.
We had a good chunk of increase in the strongly disagree, yeah.
Okay.
Cemetery's still doing pretty well.
It's pretty close to last year.
Yeah. I think most of the neutrals did end up in the positive, which is a good sign, so. And then code enforcement, definitely something that would be a focus, just because you do have the second most amount of people in the disagree category.
You know, the interesting thing about that one is we've never put more money than we have the last 2 years into code enforcement.
But we have had a lot of flux, personnel and people. It's just gonna, I think, take some time
Yeah, that's true.
to get.
Animal control.
And I think some people think there ought to be a code against that, and there may not be a code against that.
Yeah.
You know, and
Or
so-
the enforcement process is different. right?
Yeah.
So like, why can't they just go fix
Yeah.
that? And it's like, well, there's a notice and then a 15-day trial and then a, you know.
Like I said, animal control is fairly similar. The neutral did go up, which seems to be coming from the disagree categories, so we'll take that. And again, I don't know if that's just because animal control isn't used very frequently here, which could absolutely be what that is, but All right, and then we have some key metrics. Again, just a reminder, these are just 2026 statistics. Overall, citizens were neutral on the satisfaction with land use. Even if you aggregate the data, neutrality still is going to rank highest among all of them. Me and Nate talked about this. I think it's just a little too vague for citizens to actually maybe fully understand what we mean by that. Just because zoning is something that is a little bit more, usually at least internal within the city. So they may just have lack of knowledge on that, and that's why neutral's ranking so high. But
Do you have that question, Andy?
What was the question? Yeah.
Or were there multiple questions around land use?
it's that's the singular question, was planning, zoning, and land use, and it was satisfaction. So I am satisfied with planning, zoning, and land use.
Yeah, it's pretty vague for the average citizen,
Most
right?
people wouldn't.
They won't know.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may be one we should add to our list.
Yeah.
We're slowly refining this. Last year, we have better questions this year than last year, but we try to keep them the same for the most part, right? So we can compare.
Yeah.
So. City communication seems to be doing pretty well. We have a good chunk of people in the agree, a lot of them also neutral. So something we definitely want to focus on is how can we be better at communicating with the city. We do have a question in there that talks about different communication methods. It is not on this slide just because the data was presented differently, so we analyzed answers per citizen rather than the answers given. But that is something we can also adjust to next year's survey. But overall, not too bad. So, utilities, again, not terrible, mostly agree, as we just talked about in the last slide. I think this one, me and Nate also talked about, was kind of split due to people confusing it with utility billing, which I have seen is kind of an issue among citizens, is the cost of their utilities. So I think, again, just some more specification on this will change our answers in the future.
So
And
the
then
question is more around consistency of utilities, or?
it was
It
utility
didn't include-
service.
It didn't include cost, it was just the service.
Yes, we had a separate question on utility billing.
Okay.
And then 39.92% of residents approved of the online billing system. And then the other highest category was 30% in the neutral stance. So I think a lot of that just comes from probably an age difference. People have a preference of doing things by check, by online. Nothing you can really necessarily force people to do. But that is showing that our system is set up in a good way, and it seems fairly easy to use. Utility billing. Results on utility billing were pretty evenly split. 31.23% of residents approved of utility billing, with a second response of 24.51 in the neutral and 17.79 in the disapproval. So there's not a whole lot you can take from this data just because they are so fairly split. But again, you just probably want to focus on how can we better that, since you can't get any real data from that really.
So Kaylee, I'm gonna interject real quick because the communication, one of the things I found really interesting is the preferred method of communication.
Yes.
And we asked that. You don't have that on here, do you? Okay.
That was one of the ones that was answered per person.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so if you look at it, the percentages, and they could select multiple options, right? The things they like. So that's why these percentages are a little bit, they won't add up to 100, but they're still telling.
Yes.
So the app, you had 43% of people say they like the app, they preferred the app. 39% the website, 34% the newsletter, and that's up almost 10% from last year.
Yep.
So that's catching, which is cool. 16% the newspaper, you saw a slight decrease from last year to this year on that. 63% social media and 54% text messaging. So in line probably with what I've seen in my career, but maybe kind of interesting to those who haven't thought about it in terms of the newsletter being such a big piece. I think none of us are surprised about social media being 64%, and text messaging being 54%. I think that's kind of the direction things are going. But still huge chunks liking the newspaper and the newsletter especially, and then the website and app are very popular too, so.
What did you say was the highest demographic that answered the survey?
36 to 45.
Did you have the number for like above that, the older group, like my group, an older?
Yes, we had under 18, 19 to 25, 26 to 35, 36 to 45, 36 to 45, 46 to 55, and then I think 65 and up.
Do we have a response rate for 65 and up?
I don't know if it's on here, but I know I have it in
We do
the,
have it.
Because I wonder if that was low.
65 and up, I could maybe find it. Here we go. It is
65 or older, or 66 or older was 45 people, and
That's 18%.
yeah.
So pretty well represented. I love how when Shay said, like my age, and you went through
Yeah.
all of the
I mean,
things. so you-
I'm like, I
No
love
guessing.
the app, I love all of that, but we may be missing some people. But I think the newsletter that goes in the bill is going to hit. I think we'll hit everybody as far as communication.
So the app was fairly highly rated there. Is there a way to report power outages through the app?
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
They
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
And I think I saw something on Facebook that said, I wish we would get messages when there's a power outage, but we do, right, through our app.
Yeah, you're notified.
When they post, it pushes through the
Yeah.
app.
Mhm.
I think maybe pushing the app more. I don't know how you do that, but
Yeah, we asked,
For quite a while.
yeah.
to that point, we did ask later on, we said, this actually pushes our app a lot, the survey. So what happens is we say, did you know the city of Berry has an app?
Yes.
If they say no,
Oh,
then
that's good.
the next screen is download the app. You would want to download the app, and it has a QR code they can
Right.
do it at. So,
That's good.
but I want to say that it has.
I couldn't find it. That doesn't mean it's not there.
I know I got some notifications.
No, I got notifications. I mean, can I report that I have an outage at my
Oh,
house?
I see.
Oh.
Oh,
Not on the app.
Because when you ring the number, you get a busy signal or you don't get through.
You won't
It
get a
should-
busy signal anymore. The lines now, you can, if it doesn't answer and it goes to voicemail, leave a voicemail, because they actually can see those and get the addresses from there.
I don't think we can.
Unlike
I don't think we can
before.
report from the app.
No, we
Really?
can't report.
That would be a nice feature
It would.
if they can report things through the app.
Less and less people like calling these days.
Yeah.
We are looking at a software. We have a presentation next week called Outify, and it uses similar advanced technology to do some of those things. I don't know what that all includes. We're going to find out next week if it would be a good fit. But there's lots of programs nowadays, and with the meters we have, it's all online. So like, those can be incorporated into a system where you can get a specific text message for your phone if you're, losing power, and it'll tell you, oh, this whole area is out or whatever. So there's definitely options out there. It's just that we need to look at them and determine if the cost is worth it.
I'm always torn whether or not to call because I don't want to be the ninth people from that street that's called in and said, hey, by the way, I'm out of
Right.
power. But at the same time, if I am the only one, I want to be able to notify somebody. And
But
so
you should always call, and you want to know why. The other night, every neighbor around me had power. I do not, because I'm on a different loop, because I have my own transformer, because the house used to be a business. And so Brian always tells me, you definitely have to let me know if you're off, because if you're off, I know what loop is messed up. So always do, because you never know if your house may be the end or beginning of a new loop. So it is recommended, and we will tell everybody always, don't worry that your neighbor did it, or, oh, somebody's already done it. If everybody starts thinking that way, then nobody on that block is calling. So, yes, we always make sure that you call to leave your,
I think we have good means of communication, and I think certainly that's improved. I think we saw in real time this weekend, it's people don't understand that information, including me, like can't get out, like the storm, it needs to settle down a little bit before people can get out and start working. But I don't know if people understand that, or they just get real antsy about it. But knowing, like, these are the steps, there's lightning, there's a storm. Within this long is how, this is when people can start working on it.
Yeah, the people are on call, so they're coming back
Exactly.
in. and-
Yeah, I think that's what people don't understand.
I think if there's, kind of what we were talking about, like the app, if there's features to make it easier to report outages, I mean, people were reporting their outages on Facebook immediately.
Right.
And that's where they go, because that's the world we live in today. People are gonna go online, they're gonna chat, they're gonna text.
I can tell you who
They're
was
not
out
gonna
this
call.
weekend. Everybody good.
Yeah. So if we
Yeah,
had
I-
some sort of feature to capture that and have some sort of outlet where people can report it just by texting or
Mhm.
something like that rather than calling, I think you'll get more people.
And
Yeah,
that's
and
not
there's
taking,
lots of tools, so we
Yeah.
just need to look at it.
and Nate, that's not taken away from the response, that
Right.
they had a great response. It got
Oh,
taken
I
care
know.
of quickly.
I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, I think it's, just being on the OMPA board, I know it's something that OMPA has been looking at. What can we offer our members? In fact, the one we're looking at next week is something that they're offering. They're saying, hey, this is a good one, we vetted it, and if you go with this, we'll pay 10%. And that's why we're looking at it next week. But there's a lot out there, and with AI nowadays, it's like, a lot of it's really good.
Yeah.
A lot of it's really, really good. So,
Well, I'm excited that the city of the Sons of Prairie has an app.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And that 40-some% of the people are using it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just think the more features we can add to that app, the more people will be using it, and we'll see what we're actually posting on it as well.
yeah. Sorry, I digress.
No, you're
Yeah,
good.
sorry.
Digress all you want. So back to kind of utilities, we're gonna break down the utility satisfaction. So electric, pretty decent response. We don't have that many in the disagree, so that's definitely something to be excited about. Good thing this was answered before this weekend, because apparently people aren't happy. There is a 91% gap between the 155 people in positive and the 64 people in the negative. So I feel like that's a pretty decent gap. And again, neutral is not necessarily anything to frown upon. It just means it's better than disagree at the end of the day. So water quality, a lot of them fairly split. I think a lot of this, again, I talked to Nate about this, I think people aren't necessarily understanding what water quality fully means. So again, maybe just more specification on that next year, and that'll help get a more accurate reading, because this data is not super helpful in any way, just because it is very evenly split, so there's nothing you can really know what to improve on. But definitely not great in the disagree category.
The thing I like about these is it helps you understand, because we actually have really, really good water quality in comparison with other cities. And so we know that's a fact. And so when you see this, it's like, oh, well, it's education, right? It's like there's this perception that it's not. And that gives us an opportunity to then say, well, what can we do to shift that perception to what the reality is, right? So.
That perception has been forever, hasn't it?
Mhm.
Like growing up, it seems like that's always been something.
Streets. So this is covering everything: street lighting, roads, street sweeping, and storm drainage. Residents are generally satisfied with the quality of street lighting, 38% approval, with 9.88% strong approval, and a total of 27.27 in the negative categories. So looking pretty decent. We have about 40% in the approval category, and just a little over half of that in the negative. So I don't know if that's just they want new street lighting installed on certain roads, or if that's just down to a light being out. So some of that may be an easy fix, some of it may not be such an easy fix, but that's not horrible standing. Roads, this one was not great. I'm gonna give you forewarning. Generally unhappy with the quality of road maintenance, with a strong disapproval ranking first at 35%. and 30.83 as a second response in the disapproval. Makes half the available responses showing unsatisfactory feelings on our roads. So,
Did it shift from 25?
yes, I think. It was fairly similar to 2025, I believe. I think it was still a pretty negative response. Do you have that on your phone, Nate?
Yeah, I can find it.
Okay, I was like, I have it on the computer if we need to.
But we really started roads this year tackling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Street sweeping, road surface maintenance. So 2025 was a 41% disagree. It shifted to a 34, or strongly disagree, shifted to a 34% strongly disagree. Yeah, agree, strongly agree stayed the same. Agree went up by, it doubled, went from 7% to 15%. Neutral is still the same, and disagree is about the same. So really, you have the disagrees shift to the agree category.
So at least year over year, we're seeing a positive
Yes.
trend a little bit.
Well, alone, that's got to be a positive impression because we've
Right.
only done limited.
6.
Right.
We've only had 6 blocks.
So,
Right.
That one to me is not surprising.
And the other thing that's
Yeah.
interesting is they're not artery streets, what we've done so far.
Right.
So that they're not affecting a lot of
I think
people.
that
And the
gets back
ones
to
we
the
have coming up pretty
Communication has
soon.
helped
will-
there.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, if, it seems like y'all are going in the right direction with that, so that's obviously a very good sign. So just, I've seen a few of the plans on your street maintenance, so it looks like in the next year or so, I would assume that that would have a pretty decent shift, which is something hopefully we can look forward to. Not a lot of available information from the street sweeping. Majority of them neutral with 39.13 and leaving small margins in the rest of the response options. So unfortunately, this isn't representative of anything. It was very similar last year. Nothing we could really take from that data, as all of the margins were within, I think, a 10% range of each other. So very evenly split. And then storm drainage, again, neutral, highest with, yes, the neutral stance ranked highest among our residents with approval within close margins. So that neutral was at a 30.43% and the approval was at a 26.48 and an overall 35.97% of ranking of the negative responses combined. So pretty decent. We have about 60% between approval and neutral, and then a little over half of that for the strongly disagree and disagree category. So that leaves not much for the strongly agree category, unfortunately. But again, nothing terribly awful, so nothing super I think we need to focus on. I think there are bigger issues at hand than the data that we can't.
And I'm sure that's shifted since we got this data to now because of the rainstorms we got.
Yeah. And then like Nate said, storm drainage can only do so much for certain storms, so. Garbage and sewer functionality. Garbage seems to be doing pretty decent. They feel that the garbage collection system is satisfactory with only a total of 44 people in the negatory. So we have a pretty decent chunk of our residents that feel pretty good about garbage collection. Again, same thing with sewer. We may just want to specify what exactly we mean by functionality, like is garbage, are garbage men on time? Are we notified when there's a holiday? What day are they coming instead? Things like that may just be more helpful for residents to give us an accurate answer. And then sewer functionality, pretty evenly split with the agree and neutral. Overall, 38.34% of residents approve of the sewer system and 15.02% of respondents in the disagree and strongly disagree category. So doing pretty good. I think this kind of leaves us in a good spot, I guess. So again, me and Nate talked about this one and we don't really understand if they fully are understanding the depth of that question. So
Yeah, how could you be neutral on sewer functionality,
Yeah.
right? If you flush, does it go
Does
or
it
does
go?
it stay?
I think that's what it is. I mean, you can't assume the storm drainage. I mean, if you're neutral, that's, in my mind, you don't have anything backing up in your house. You're fine.
Yeah.
Did you flood in last storm or did
You get off neutral real quick when it's not working.
Yeah. All right, and then parks, again, this data is aggregated, so we had park approval. 74.7% of residents agree that they are satisfied with the appearance of Perry Parks, and only 7.91% of people disagreed, with 17.39 who felt neutral about the park's appearance. So I believe this shot up from last year, not a crazy amount, but I do think it looked better than last year. And I think that had to do with, which park is it? Century. That one was the highest rated among all of them by a long shot. So approval and appearance is doing good. It's always good to hear. Patty must be doing a great job back there. So consistency, very small margins with 32.41 of people only visiting 1 to 3 times per year and 30.04 people visiting 10 plus times. The smallest number being 9% in the never category. So again, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be super telling of, just because you have a 2% difference in the 1 to 3 and the 10 plus times. So I think, again, if we just add another answer option, or if you don't go, why? Because this could also be affected by whether people have children, grandchildren. So I think that could affect our data quite a bit. Play equipment. Residents gave a 63.64 approval rating when it came to the equipment available at the city parks, and only 9.5% of residents were unsatisfied with the equipment. And then there was almost 27% who expressed neutral feelings. So seems like our y'all's choice of play equipment is pretty strong. Doesn't seem to be any issues, so that's good.
That one kind of blows my mind. Maybe it's coming from a bigger city, but it doesn't feel like we have a ton. And like I said, I may not be comparing to other cities of 4,500, but.
Well, I think the 2 major parks have got a pretty good facelift.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going from here to here, it's still a great step forward.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got lots of parks that don't have much.
All right, and then amenities, I think we probably could have specified this one a little bit more as well as to what exactly park amenities include, but I think that residents understand enough to answer it pretty solid. 48.22% of residents stated that they were satisfied with the park amenities, and 19.37% of people who are not satisfied with the available amenities. About a 33% who felt neutrally about that. So nothing too crazy. All right, and then for our parks, Century was the most popular among people, with 143 people ranking that as their favorite. And then our second closest response was 57 people that liked Lions the most. So Century is everyone's favorite by a landslide. And then Rotary came in third with 34 people.
Can you zoom in on this one?
Yes.
Did it list all the parks?
Yes.
They sorted them, or they just picked their?
They sorted them. Yeah. So I think it was
56% Century, 22% Lions, and 13% Rotary. You know, Century,
I've said it for a few years now.
it surprised me that Century is so much higher than Lions.
With the new equipment, splash
Splash
pad
pad
and
and,
equipment.
Was this
Surprising.
taken before or after the new splash pad?
After, yeah.
I also think if you look at who filled out the survey,
That's
and
true.
if you have people that go out there and walk,
Yeah.
and they aren't taking their kids to the splash
Right,
pad.
Reliance doesn't have a walk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's no swings at Lions.
All right, and then for the separate lake amenities, these were, people ranked certain amenities from 1 to I think 6 or 7 of them. about which ones they would like to have the most. So for Perry Lake, Swimming Beach came, oh, I'm sorry, forgot to include the camping area data, that is my fault. Perry Lake Amenities, Swimming Beach came first with 129 people. Again, pretty large gap between the second place, which is a trail around the lake. So I've heard from a few people in the office that Swimming Beach is very
What people
popular.
want to see at Berry Lake.
Yeah, so we put 10 options and they ranked.
Yeah. There's your beach.
I'm telling you,
You know, a lot of cities are doing that.
Canton did it and it changed that because they didn't take care of it. 'cause now it's
Altus
not-
did it and they've had really good success and they had a grant that helped with it.
I'm like Larry, Perry Lake is one of those areas that I think if we could get it cleaned up, get it specific beach areas, specific camping areas, just picnic area, I mean, just make it a place to be.
How do you decide between that and CC Lake?
CC's Lake, to me, CCC Lake needs to stay tranquil. I think if you make it where there's too many people out there, it's not what it's, you lose the feeling that it has right now.
It seems like people fairly agree with you on that, because a fishing dock came first for CCC Lake. 97 people, or 38.34% of people, voted a fishing dock first for CCC Lake, with about a 40-something gap for a Swimming Beach. So seems like people like your tranquility thought.
Fishing dock, yes.
Yes, and then we had not a very large gap between people that wanted a Swimming Beach and seasonal Christmas lights. I love Christmas lights, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be wiser to pour town money into something that citizens are likely to use like 6 to 8 months out of the year versus a 4-week ordeal. So
That one surprised me too. It's a big gap.
Good thing Scott's not here, he'd argue that one.
all right, and then these are just based on pool statistics. So it seems people don't really have too many opinions about the appearance of the pool, but I think that's also probably tied to the number of pool visits, mostly being never. So,
Wait, go back to the pool visits.
sorry.
So to the right is 10 plus? And to
Yes.
the left is never?
Left with the highest ranking is never at 164. Yeah, so I'm like, you can't have a lot to say if you don't
Most of
go.
the people at the pool are kids.
Yeah, again, I don't
That's
think that
it.
we're
I
saying
don't know.
people that would
Yeah.
answer this.
That one's kind of a strange
Just age
metric.
wise.
Yeah, you're right, adults don't really go to the pool, take their kids there.
So maybe,
And even drop their kids off.
Yeah.
maybe like a does not apply option in the future.
Number of pool
Well,
visits
How
per,
many times you dropping your kids off or
Yeah,
how often is your family using it?
right,
Or even people that their kids are not going there anymore. I mean, they're older.
right.
They're not paying attention.
That's kind of skewed, because I mean, when you look at the pool, it's usually packed.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And so like when we're seeing this, we're thinking, oh, nobody goes to the pool. No, a lot of people go to the pool.
I think it's who answered the survey on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think the other data point that we'll have at the end of the season, that we get at the end of each season, is we actually have a number of how many people came,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think that's important.
I mean, you could maybe survey people that are using the pool and ask them what they think of the pool and the pool facilities, because people that, if people are answering this and they say, well, I never go, but I'm gonna answer how satisfied I am with the pool and the pool facilities, well, you never go.
Yeah.
I think it's depending on what you want the information for.
Right, yeah.
Because if it's a bond or if it's something where we need the whole community to get behind, then you need everybody to answer it. But if it's just how much the people who are going like
Right.
it.
There's all those other questions. When I see that one is like number of pool visits, to me that kind of nullifies all the other questions, because, well, you said you never go.
And let me be clear, there's no one talking about a bond. I just want
Oh,
to make sure, make sure that's out there.
Right, yeah, so neutral with pool appearance, neutral with cleanliness, neutral with amenities, neutral with snack options, and neutral with pool safety.
It's probably because they never go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking if I had filled the survey out and I'd put I never go, and I had to pick between the other
You'd say
questions,
neutral.
I would have said neutral.
Yeah.
I would have said, well, I don't want
I'm
to throw
indifferent
off,
to it
I don't
because I
want to
don't
throw
know.
off the
Yeah.
stuff.
Because there wasn't a non-applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we should do next year is, because we can make it, if they answer, hey, I never attend, they don't even answer
The other ones,
Just
yeah.
skip some
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
so that would be an easy implementation.
Yeah.
All right, this one is for you guys. This is based on trust within your elected officials, city staff, things of that nature. So when citizens were asked if they trust elected officials, the highest ranking was agree, with 30.43% or 77 people stating that they feel like they can trust elected officials. So, all good things, good signs.
They trust the most.
That was just agree.
There's no individual names there, right?
That was just agree, or that was agree and strongly disagree combined?
75.
I think that was just
There you
agree.
go.
I don't think I aggregated that
That's
data.
just family members.
And then for city staff as a whole, felt pretty neutral about that. 28% or 71 people felt neutral about trusting the city staff. I'm not sure if maybe that just has something to do with calling City Hall and maybe not getting an answer that you like so much. Something of that nature is very possible.
They didn't say they hated us.
Yeah. It's like at least it's not strongly disagree. All right, and then are citizens considered before major decisions are made? Neutral, again, so almost 29% or 73 people felt neutral about being considered before any decision making. And then approval of mayor and city council work, neutral. 41.11 or 104 people feel neutral about the work performed by the mayor and city council. So I'm not sure if that, because that neutral is a lot higher than the city staff and whether they're considered before decisions. So I'm not sure if that's just due to lack of knowledge of like, maybe they don't exactly know what y'all are working on at the time. I don't know what y'all communicate about that. I don't follow your social media, to be completely fair.
But I
What
think
was the trend year over year?
that's what I was gonna say. I think the trend there is really, really important, because we're not seeing the full picture there.
I
So
think it's better than last year.
way better. So
Yeah.
trust elected officials went from strongly disagree of 24% last year to 15% this year. So you saw a 10% decrease in people strongly disagreeing with that. You saw 22% agree last year to a 30% this year. City staff, same way, you saw jumps in a positive trend. Major decisions, I think we looked at that one earlier. Yes. Slight increases, but lots of neutral increases. So it's almost like, maybe we're not totally considered, but they're moving in the right direction. But yeah, I think that is important to see as well. I mean, I approve of the work of mayor and city council. Approved last year of 16.9%, approved this year of 25%. So,
Yeah, I remember when I was making this slideshow, there was definitely, these were looking at these answers, positive answers for sure, because I did remember that they had a pretty high shift upwards. So I don't know if that's something, we obviously want the residents to trust you and what we're doing here. So I don't know if that's something we just need to worry about more of communication and like maybe a monthly update on like, this is what we're working on, da da da, or if it comes down to some kind of event where they can come and just congregate, ask questions, if that would do anything. But yes, building trust would be a big one, and we seem to be doing good, so want to keep that afloat.
it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues at the same rate of increasing, or if it slowly just starts to peter out. So next year it'll be interesting to see.
And then this one is based on just the city employees. So when you're starting off with temperaments, do they feel that city employees are courteous and respectful? 42.29% agreed that the city employees are courteous and respectful. So definitely a good answer there. Not sure what y'all could be doing in the disagree category that's really making people think y'all aren't very nice. been very kind to me, so. Again, it may just be a thing of people hearing something they don't want to hear. But overall, we're doing pretty good, and this did improve from last year, I believe. City staff is helpful. Pretty similar trend on all three of these, really. We're all in the strongly agree, and neutral, with just a small amount in the disagrees. So definitely good data to look at here. And like I said, I believe all of these did go up in comparison to 2025. So for the helpful, there was a 37.94% of residents agreeing that you guys were respectful and knowledgeable. Or knowledgeable and helpful, that's my fault. And then, are they satisfied with your overall performance? 37.15% of residents agreed and said that they are satisfied with what y'all are doing and how it's being done. So again, pretty similar to the last two questions as far as answer numbers go. So all good things over here. Fun one, city app. So we asked if they were aware of the city app. 176 of them, which is almost 70%, agreed that they were aware of the app. Majority of them stated that they have downloaded the city app, and then the second response was no answer. So I think probably maybe not include that question next year, just because that's not really indicative of anything for us. So only 43.08% of people actually have it downloaded, of those people that were aware of the app. And then again, on the desire to download the app, we may want to just remove the no answer option, because that's not allowing us any actual information. It's either a yes or it's a no. Pretty simple. But only 16.6% of people said that they had the desire to download the city app. So it appears that those that don't already have the app don't really have a desire to download it in the future. So whether that's adding more features to the app, such as outage reporting, that may boost that desire to download that app. All right, and then these were the biggest concerns among the citizens, and probably the biggest focus areas from just the statistics given. Businesses. So approximately 104 out of the 253 responses we got for 2026 are leaving town 3 or more times a week, seeking businesses that Perry does not have. So focusing more energy towards bringing new and necessary businesses into town will allow Perry to keep more money within the city, rather than residents putting their money into other towns. So that's definitely something we would want to focus on. I think that again will just come with time. As Perry grows, we'll get more businesses, things will start booming a little bit more. Water quality, we did discuss this one. Perry does have good water quality, but this is just based on the statistics given. So it is ranked neutrally with 27.67% of residents, and the agree and disagree category have a very slim margin. It's not allowing any real answers to be taken. So in the next year, we want to sort the data with larger margins. And even if that's not improving the water quality and just improving the questions, that's something that can make a huge difference. Roads. We did discuss this, like wasn't a super shock to anybody. When going through the data, the top 2 answers was satisfaction relating to road maintenance / quality were strong, disagreement, and disagreement. So this is a main concern among citizens, and something that the city is definitely going to want to focus on moving forward. Repairing the roads will allow for a higher satisfaction and quality of life within Perry. Lastly is the cost of living. This is mostly just based off of the responses received back on one of the first questions on if Perry is a good place to live. If citizens answered disagree or strongly disagree, it was if no, why not? Among majority of those that filled it out was utility costs and cost of living and rent and rental property availability. So cost of living has just been a huge thing that seems to be an issue with residents. So again, not a direct question on the survey. Many people left comments relating to the extremely high utility bills, lack of available rental properties, etc. People are unhappy with paying such high bills and taxes while not having the essential businesses such as a Walmart or things of that nature. So as mentioned, like the Walmart and things like that aren't necessarily anything we can do right now. That's gonna have to come with time and as Perry grows as a city. But yes, cost of living is something definitely bothering residents.
So,
Sorry,
so those 4,
yes.
and I know public is different than private, but when we would do an employee survey and there was 12 or 15 or 16 questions, afterwards we would digest what those responses were, and we'd either put a small team together or something, and we would go find the 3 or 4 that we could actually attack. And so I just wonder if it wouldn't pay for us to put a small task force together or something for each one of those and go, cost of living may just be something we want to put in every one of our social media and billing that shows kind of how Perry does compare to other cities in this area as far as rent cost and those kinds of things. I think there's some ways we can change the answers, but we need to very quickly start coming up with responses to those.
Yeah, I agree.
The roads are just going to be, we're going to have to start fixing some roads. We're going to have to earn the trust that they're giving us this year.
Yeah.
And I think if the businesses side of it, now this doesn't answer why the difference from last year to this year, but I would think most people are going out of town for groceries.
Yeah, that was another common one, was people kind of within the cost of living, which I should have kind of broken down a little bit more, was a really big complaint about, I think, Homeland being the only grocery store, and I know Homeland's already pretty expensive, let alone when it's the only one available, they're gonna upsell even more. So, yeah, that's.
And I don't think that's gonna go, I mean, and I think that that's an area where we need to have conversations. I mean, more fast food restaurants are wonderful, but it's groceries, affordable groceries without traveling is what people need.
Yeah, 40% of people leaving Perry 3 times a week or more for a business. That's a lot. I think about that, and then you think about the incentives that we would offer businesses and how fast you recoup that if you can keep those people in town.
All right, and then that is all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, there is my email, and that is the City Hall phone number, but you guys can just ask for Kaylee. I'll call you back at some point if I'm not there, but.
Good information.
Thanks, Ethan.
Yeah, thank you. That's a lot of stuff to put together.
I do agree with Randy that now we have the information, like what's next with it, rather than, I think there's lots of things that we've done well, that the city's done well, that there's a lot of respect for, but focusing on those ones that we need to do something about, and also knowing that neutral area can go either way really quickly.
Yep. Lots of fence sitters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See Wilson over there. I loved it, it was warm, but I see her over here doing this.
All right, council, any other questions or comments on that? It's a lot to.
The only other comment I'd have was, and I know it's just, some of it's up to us, but it'd sure be nice to get that number up to 500 or 600.
Yeah, the number of
respondents.
Responses. Yeah, it had gone down, but maybe we can email that out to us, for anybody that wants it to go
The
over.
information?
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, on your packet too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, item 9, discussion on roof.
All right, so I brought 2 esteemed members of our staff to talk through this, and Ben's going to start with, this kind of includes 2 things. He's going to start with the mold issue at the fire station and kind of what staff's recommending there, and then we'll jump into roofs.
Yeah. So I think it was about a year and a half ago, we came out and so we need to go and seal up the outside of the building where we could see cracks coming through and water getting through. Really thought that was really going to get it. And I thought we did it. We went about a year of not really seeing anything visible, and it got brought to my attention in the lockers. You can see in there mold visibly growing. So went in there, got what we could cleaned up, but the question is, where is it really coming from? Is it coming from the pretty sure we set up the outside of the walls. When we first started having people come in, a couple of the contractors said, I think it's your groundwater. I was just like, man, just not seeing it, never seen anything just build up right there. But as we tore into the wall, behind the lockers, do what?
You guys have grass?
Yeah.
Grant?
Yeah, right there in front of the
And that
building on
corner,
grass
yeah.
area there. So. But as we tore into that wall, we kind of watched and we had a dry period where there was nothing. I'm like, maybe it is the roof. Maybe that's where it's coming from. And I'm still not 100% sure it's not coming from there. I think it's a little bit of both. But as we started getting more of these rains, we're starting to see more moisture at the bottom of that foot plate. But there's no signs of it coming down that wall. So is it just we're not catching it, it's just settling there? But the more contractors we have coming in and look at it, they're really thinking it's that groundwater that's seeping up through and it's creating that moisture. So different plans of attacks, but I think it's going to take all of them, but it's time to go in and get it. When you start ripping out, find out what's going on. Is there even a water leak in one of those pipes that's through there? There's lots of questions we don't really know. Okay, but the groundwater definitely seems to be a problem, so I think we need to come in there with a French drain for sure, tear out the lockers, tear out the kitchen, and even into my office where it's just really soft to touch. You can almost put your fingers to the wall at the base of it. But it's definitely time to go in there and get it. And I think we got it with the roof coming out from, we already still out the outside of the walls and with the groundwater. I don't know where else. I think it's just a plan of attack of all angles of it at this point. So the one thing like I said, that's what we're recommending. We approved $100,000 for that process, but we're not $50,000, so well under budget. Kind of goes into what we're going to do with the roof. The roof is, every time it rains, there's a different puddle. We're trying to chase, where is that puddle coming from? As we can see it coming down here, it's obvious, and then there's another puddle. I don't know where that puddle came from. It's kind of sporadic throughout the station. There's different areas. It's now in the kitchen. We're having it leak through, which is one of the areas that the mold is. We know it's back behind it. It's going back through there, but that doesn't explain what's happening with the locker situation on the other side of the building. So it's just all angles of attack at this point is what we're asking for. So I think that kind of covers where we need to go with the mold situation. We just got to go get it, pull it out, and replace everything. The roof, now option 3, you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys all have these different options. Option 3 is what we're asking for. But basically it's a general cover the whole roof. As we got more rains this weekend, we saw different vents starting to leak. There is some drainage that goes from one side that leaks, that goes down to a gutter system. I think that's leaking too. It's not capturing all that water. It's coming through the different angles there. And I think as we look at these, as we talk to the contractors here, kind of get a better idea. It's like, hey, now we know a little bit more with all these rains where they're coming through, and what's your recommendations to fix them.
So, Ben, going back to the mold issue, I don't know how much background they have on this. So you talked a little bit about the flashing, which is the outside sealant. That was decayed and bad, and water was just getting through. So we sealed that up last year, and we thought that fixed it. Well, now we're starting to think, yeah, that was an issue, but maybe it was groundwater too. And so we're talking about kind of a two-pronged solution would be, hey, tear out what's all there. The flashing's fixed. Tear out what's all there, get rid of the mold, and then put in a French drain to keep the groundwater from seeping up as well. So that's what we're looking at for mold issue. We have the money to do it. It's going to be very close within my limit, which is why we kind of wanted to bring it to you guys to say, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking. And also, it's been a long time issue. It predates me by a lot.
Just to clarify, when you said we have the money for it, this was an insurance claim, right? No?
This one was budgeted $100,000 this year to take care of it.
Gotcha.
And we feel like that will.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, like I said, we're kind of going at all angles at it now. I mean, where else can you go to fix it? It's either going to be ground, roof, wall, yeah, that's all. So.
I don't know very much about mold, but those are the things the contractors have told us without getting like really crazy intense with some of these mold remediations that come in and, suck out the whole building and go in the vents, which would be a lot worse.
So Ben, you mentioned this multi-prong approach. Are we approving that today, or are we just doing the roof?
Really, both, yeah, both. And I don't know that we need a motion of approval for the mold issue, but I would like some feedback if you guys don't feel like that's the way to go, or if you feel like there's something else that we need to look at. Just because it's close to my limit, and it, like I said, it predates me, so.
Well, when we toured some of the facilities, and Ben kind of walked us through what's there and what's happening, it sure makes sense to go try.
Right.
If nothing else, peeling some of that stuff back will give you a visual of where that water is migrating or coming from, or.
So I think a year and a half ago, we went to the outside where we thought it was, and now it's, I think that was it. I mean, obviously that was it. When we showed you where the gaps were and where the caulking was, it's not sealed up, but now it's more. It's proved to be more.
Right.
So.
So we already budgeted how much?
100,000.
100,000? This is within that.
Yeah.
So we're not making a motion. We're not approving like a.
Contract.
No, this is
like
more
a
just
amendment
feedback.
to the budget or anything like that. This is already falls within what we've approved.
Yes, and I think, I mean, honestly, like I said, normally I wouldn't even bring this to you because we budgeted the money, but predating me, close to my limit, and then third, frankly, as we've talked to some of the council members, there's been a lot of specific feedback on, hey, we don't really like that approach, and so I wanted to come and bring that up. The last thing I want is to spend money in a way that you guys don't want me to. So.
Well, I think we talked at one point about it needing to be a priority. I mean, I think definitely we need to. It feels like everything costs $1 million nowadays. My only thing is like, what happens if by some fluke it comes over? We're just gonna have to bring it back to council and vote on it? Is that gonna hold it up?
No, it should be fine. I mean, we have the 100,000 approved for it, so I could spend up to that technically, because you guys have approved it for that purpose.
I appreciate you moving forward on it.
So it looks like you got two bids here, right? One for TPO and one for, what's that, hot roll, like it goes straight with a flat hot roll roof, is that what that is? One was 87,000 and one was 35,000?
Yeah, and we'll dive more into the roof issue in just a second, because I wanna share a document with you guys as well. But
How was the roof?
for the quotes on ripping out the lockers or out the mold, we got one quote. Well, two. We got two quotes, but one of them was tearing out and putting back, and the other one was just tearing out. And then we got another quote for the French drain. So.
One of the quotes was absolutely half the price, but what after digging into the quote and talking to him, that was reutilizing some of the material that we already know is molded.
Right.
So that bid was going to go up. So.
Yeah, let's jump into the, unless there's any other feedback on the mold issue. Okay.
Show us what you
Yeah,
have.
I guess most of the question still is, you don't need anything from us other than just us nodding that we.
That's correct, on the mold issue, yeah.
Sorry, I kind of did both. I was kind of both at the same
you're
time,
okay.
but anyway.
Tyson, will you share my screen one more time? I had meant to bring these printed tonight. I apologize, I didn't get that done. But we did a roof analysis on this, and Ben talked through a little bit of the roof issue they're having. So let me give a little bit of background, and then we'll have these two come up and talk through the options. The background on this is we got paid out an insurance claim for roofs generally in the city. We did some of those roofs in-house, others we said, hey, that one actually is fine. And ultimately what we ended up with is we have these two roofs left as our top priority roofs, which is the fire department and the police department. And we have $200,000 to rectify those two roofs. And so here we have various options that we wanted to run by you. and get some feedback on them, and these will be above my limit, and ultimately you'll have to approve these. So Ben, Brian, you guys want to come up and talk through these options?
So on the police department, the building was built in '53. You guys have seen it before and after. We are so thankful at the after with the remodel we have. We went out for bids. What we want is we got a flat roof. We want a pitched roof where both buildings look like the same. And we have future plans to make in the breezeway here a training facility, paint the outside both buildings at just one facility where we're not separated for admins down here, police are up here. We had several contractors come in, and as contractors, they looked at it and said, I'm not getting on this. And they said, we could patch it. Well, we've patched it for years and years and years. It's going to continue to leak. We spent, I think, when Larry Pinnell was here, we had to shut that whole building down and call a mold company to come in for weeks to have fans blowing because the whole facility was full of black mold. Right now, it's not leaking, but a flat roof, as you guys know, it's just a matter of time. It's going to leak. So I went out to one contractor and I said, can you give me an estimate? And as I was pulling off, he goes, Chief, this ain't going to be cheap. And I'm like, oh, whatever. His estimate was $730,000 to put a pitched roof on our facility. I said, absolutely not. I said, no. So if you guys are familiar with Byron Strader Buildings, he builds this for a living. He came in, local Perry guy, very professional. He does buildings everywhere. And he gave a quote of $142,000 to do the same thing as $730,000 bid was. I know Nate and I were hoping 90, but everything's so expensive these days. And this would save this building because if the roof caved in, I mean, to build a new police department, you're at $15 million every bit of it. And for us to fix a roof to save this facility, and it's a really well-built building up there, solid concrete. I want to be able to save that with a pitched roof to where we can maintain it for the next 20 or 30 years. I mean, it's that capable of doing that with the concrete and everything else. But to put a pitch roof will save that facility. So that was my pitch, is that options 1 and 2 were just patch, but to make it done right, and we got the money with the insurance claim, that's what I was asking, if we could possibly get this done to where we've got a facility here, it'd connect both buildings and be just one facility.
That price would cover the breezeway and connect both buildings?
Yes. Well, it wouldn't it wouldn't make it a breezeway per se. It would put a pitch.
Well, that's what I'm calling the old one breezeway, I guess.
Yeah.
The existing breezeway.
It'd connect the buildings together, but I mean, as far as the
It would make this all
breezeway.
one building, basically.
Yeah, we'd have to, like y'all have seen in Manila, we'd have to take out the concrete, and that's for phase 2, whenever we get some money built up, just to save the existing facility.
But it would be covered.
Yes.
Yeah, so the thought process that we had is, hey, something needs to be done to that roof, obviously. You can put money in, $26,000 was a roof repair for that building. It's like, well, that would work, but as Brian indicated, over a long period of time, that flat roof's just going to continue to cause problems. And so the pitch is, well, maybe for a little more, we thought it'd be a little more, we could do a pitch roof, and ended up being quite a bit more, but still might be worth doing. So that's kind of the police pitch. So option 1, $26,800 for a roof repair, or
150 for.
Yeah, or 145 for the pitch. And with the fire, we'll let Ben kind of talk about that.
So kind of like I said, it's been one leak after another leak up there, trying to isolate where it's coming from. The biggest problem in that building, it's been one add-on after another add-on after another add-on. and trying to get those add-ons to seal up is basically where we're seeing a lot of these problems. Over on the Amwits Bay where it goes from the flat roof to the slope roof, I think that's a lot. We're starting to see some leaking around there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get with a lot of these contractors to see exactly what, I think a lot of the building, the cost of it is different material. Correct me if I'm wrong. The types of it, you know.
You know, it's tough to that point.
Yeah.
Ben and I look at these quotes and I'm like, we're not roofers. Like, we don't know the difference between, you know, what they're saying. It's tough. You almost have to base it on reputation, which luckily, in some ways, we're lucky because we've had so many roof issues over the last 2 years that we've dealt with a lot of these companies and found out pretty quick that some of them are really, really tough to deal with.
Have you tried talking to like Tracy over at Ditch Witch or
To see,
to ask him for some recommendations?
oh no, haven't talked to him about it. I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, we have,
Yeah, I think this one this is a complete replacement of everything. Is my understanding of this bid. And maybe that's what it needs. Maybe instead of doing patch here, hey, we're like this time we did this section here, or we did a section here, this is going to be a complete go through. And obviously with some of the new spots we see now, it's going to give us a chance to get with this contractor. It's like, this is what these are the spots we're seeing. What is your recommendation? Are we still at this cost here? So, I mean, there is some questions for me. It's kind of where I'm at with it.
kind of reading the descriptions, you can see the fire department roof, Warfighter came in at 25.5. And standard came in at 35.7. And then Anytime, who we used to do our water treatment plant roof and did a really good job, getting a lot higher. And it seemed like, looking at their quotes, this one was more comprehensive. But that's a conversation that we had planned to have with Anytime after. I mean, if we bring them out to look at it again. I think talking to Tracy would be a good idea, though. I didn't think about it. You know, I really like wearing a lot of hats, but sometimes the hats don't fit very well.
And like I was telling him, I was like, in my career, I think this is going to be like our 5th or 6th roof we put on. So I mean, materials have changed. But I think getting one up there and explaining the material and showing him, you know, maybe it's just a whole roof we put on. So.
You know, it's easier with like the street department because it's a smaller roof, so they're doing the whole thing, right? And it's like, oh, well, you can look at the warranties, right? Well, that warranty is 2 years, that warranty is 1 year, you know, and so it's easier. But where you're just doing a section, they don't really warranty that. It's like you just call them out if there's another leak and you say, hey, the spot you fixed is leaking again. Like, oh, and they patch it some more, you know, so it's tough. So option 3 would be doing both of these, which is PD, pitched roof, and fire department, the Anytime roofing quote, with an estimated cost of $232,000. So that's $32K beyond what we have in that payout. Which, where would that come from? Where I think we'd have to pull it from the mold remediation project, which we have enough to pull it from if we wanted to go that way.
And still address all those different possible causes of mold.
Yeah, that's looking to be about 50,000. So it leaves another 50 for some flexibility to put here or to do some.
We set aside 100 for mold. We're really coming in under that, so it takes a portion of that and put it towards the roof.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and I like the idea of. I mean, really, I was asking for kind of a motion of how to move tonight, but I do like the idea of talking to Tracy.
Yeah.
And see what his thoughts are.
I mean, he's got so many contacts and people that he's worked with, and they've got people out there right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That quote from Anytime, I mean, it's kind of, there's a couple of details, but it still leaves a little bit of a question of, is that the entire department or just single and the slightly sloped section, it doesn't talk about, and the flat roofs over where the bay areas are, I mean, over the far bay
Right,
area.
that was a question we had, kind of, what all is this included?
Make sure.
And what is the material?
That's, I mean, if that's the entire roof, I think that's a good idea, but I'm skeptical of it not being all inclusive.
It didn't seem to me, Joe, that it included the whole thing, just based on the conversations I've had with them, it was a portion, and I think the anytime was the greatest portion, which is why it came in so much higher, but I don't think it's the whole thing, I don't think any of those are the full fire station. I mean, it's a big space.
You know, the TPO membrane is the one to go with, I mean, if that's the question, in that last longest, especially for those style roofs.
And the TPO is only for fire department from,
Yeah, they won't put it on the slope roof on the second story, they'll put a shingle back on that,
but Warfighter looks like they'll do a TPO, and so does Standard, and so does, no, there's only two. Hold on, maybe filtered.
Would the mold and the roof be two separate contractors?
Yeah.
Like the mold, you can get going on that
Yep.
before the roof and get that taken
That's
care
correct.
of. We already have that budgeted. I'd say go ahead.
I'd probably rather do the roof before I attempt the mold mitigation, that'll let you make sure you don't have any moisture coming back in before you get the roof done.
Yeah, I think they're far enough out in booking that it's, if we decided today, they're still gonna be done, you know, a month or two from now. So we can order it in the way we need to. Yeah, TPO only, those that I talked about do TPO. Warfighter and Standard. It doesn't look like any time even had that.
Even with these quotes, I mean, if you go up to Tracy and be like, hey, do these look good?
Yeah.
They'll say, oh, that's high, or oh, no.
You may be able to come back and.
Right. Give you some advice on, ask this, look for this.
Well, they know all about flat roofs out there.
So to get moving, what do you need, if anything, from us?
I think I can get the mold stuff moving quick. In terms of the roof, I think I would like an approval to move forward with option 3 based on Tracy's feedback. So if he says, no, that's a bad idea, do it this way or whatever, and can change what our thinking is about it, then we'd maybe come back or adjust our plan. But option 3 is the most expensive anyway, so anything we did less than that would be less severe.
Well, I will move that we approve option 3, depending on Tracy's feedback.
Yeah.
Or the appropriate employee that may work for Tracy.
Awesome.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes. Yes.
O'Shea?
Yes.
Wortham?
Yes. Item number 10, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-10 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending the Perry Municipal Code 2026 by the addition of a new section 10-1206 to Article 12 in Chapter 10 entitled Case 12 Businesses whose main purpose is selling tobacco and vapor products and/or electronic smoking devices, permit, prohibit, locations, violations, legal authority, and legislative findings. Provide for legal authorities by establishing regulations governing businesses whose principal purpose is the sale of tobacco products, vapor products, and electronic smoking devices. Requiring an annual municipal permit, prohibiting the location of such businesses within 300 feet of schools, parks, playgrounds, and certain youth facilities. Providing for definitions and penalties, repealer, savings, codification, statutory construction, and severally penalty, and declaring an emergency.
So the whole idea behind this is planning and zoning, thinking ahead and saying, where do we want certain businesses down like we've always done. The thing that brought this to our attention is there's a vape shop that's wanting to come into town, and obviously we're open to that idea, but would want to be mindful of where we're allowing them to go. I will say, because it was asked as a question that they asked, hey, is any property they're looking at now would be exempt if we pass this? And the answer is no. Not that I'm aware of. If the properties they're looking at now are further than 300 feet from any of these things.
So we're making it 300 feet. What was it before?
Just
Nothing?
if the zone allowed for it.
Oh, okay. So it didn't have that restriction.
No, if the zone was right next to a school, come next to a school. If it was right next to a daycare, it could go next to a daycare. That's how it is now.
Gotcha.
But this doesn't necessarily include the family-friendly district.
It doesn't. No, this doesn't include the family. Not that I saw, Bryce.
No, it doesn't.
Could it?
Is that something
Rice
that's
question.
already,
Well,
that's
family friendly, we
already,
already put in that they can't be in that area, right?
No, we have nothing about tobacco or
Yeah,
vaping, but, you know, if you wanted to look at that, we could certainly look at that. I mean, as long as you don't prohibit in the community, it is possible. What the law is,
What do we restrict?
you know, the tobacco industry has made sure that there's not a lot of local regulation.
Yeah, Maryland.
In fact, the statute provides that, you know, you can't be stricter than state law, but it does allow you an area in zoning and planning. I mean, as long as you don't restrict, exclude it.
We don't prohibit it, but we restrict it.
You know,
Bryce, would it be easier to, if we wanted to do that, would it be easier to amend this ordinance to say and the family friendly, or amend the
well,
family friendly?
if we're wanting to look at that, I would recommend continuing this to allow us to look at that, to see what that application would be, and then to bring it back to you, if that's something you're interested in. Not to do it tonight. I mean, at that point, we may even want to, you know, this was really a police power issue within 300 feet of school, and that we're now talking about a district. It may be prudent to send that to the planning commission too, like we have all the other things that we've done if we're wanting to make that more restrictive. It builds a better record. It builds a better record. It builds more public input, public notice and the like. So if you wanted to take a look at that, that's what I'd recommend. We have something going before the Planning Commission anyways on PUDs that will be at, I believe we talked about a month from now at a special meeting, the first meeting in August. So if you want that, please allow us to cipher that and process that a little bit.
That being said, though, you should be mindful that there is one of these shops looking around right now. So if you for sure want to protect these areas from that
Because they'd be grandfathered in if they.
That's correct. If they bought it tomorrow.
So my
we
question
didn't-
is, we did something similar to the dispensaries, correct?
Right.
Was that?
Oh, yeah.
Did we do that on its own ordinance, or did we do that in the family-friendly?
The dispensaries don't count
We
as smoke shops
refer
or
to
vape
the
shops.
district now that we have it defined. We refer to the district, but it's in a number of commercial zoning districts, that language. And of course, we excluded grows and manufacture only to the industrial district. So we made some comprehensive changes to the marijuana ordinance.
I don't think we want, I don't think we want something like this within 300 feet of schools and playgrounds and all of that. Not
This and then-
I mean, anywhere else might be okay, but this doesn't really have anything to do with the family-friendly district downtown, so this ordinance.
We could at least do this
It
and come
would
back and amend
do
it next
this and
time.
come back and revisit the other district.
Yeah, it might be
With the
great to
planning
have a
commission.
cigar store in downtown. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
I mean, used to have 38 taverns, you know,
Right.
and a cigar store. Now, some of the vapes with pipes that look, you know, that look pretty crazy and all are a different thing, but there's a whole lot more vaping now, and it is destroying kids' health. So that was really where we were targeted. It might be smart to adopt this at this point and then to look and see whether we can amend it. You know, that way it's heat up right now to do that, and then we talk about whether that should be amended. You do have 5 here, so you can pass an ordinance,
Just not the emergency.
just not the emergency. That's correct. But you need 5 to pass an ordinance.
I move we approve this ordinance.
I'll second.
Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Okay, so we will forego item 11 and move on to item number 12. Discuss city strategic plan. So with that, we have communication. I mean, we went over the survey already and talked about some aspects of communications. Is there anything additional anyone has that they would like to include or talk about? Because we did talk about communication quite a bit.
I think we've already got, we've got communication things happening already with some goals we put in place, things like that, so.
I'd like to talk about it more, but not tonight. Like, I think to be able to take the survey findings and really kind of come up with a communication plan would be good. But I don't think we need to do it tonight by any means.
But we will move along then. Item 13, consider convening into executive session for purpose of discussing negotiation with the bargaining agents for the local FOP Lodge 137 and the IFAA Local 4242 pursuant to 25307B1.
So moved.
Second.
Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. let's go ahead and reconvene into our regular session. I'll make a motion that we reconvene.
I'll second.
Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right, item 15, take any action deemed appropriate pursuant to such executive session.
I make a motion to grant Nate the authority to finalize contract negotiations with police and fire.
Second.
Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Item 16, upcoming meeting review.
Only thing, well, I can go over a couple things. We have strengthen tax base for the strategic planning portion. And then we're also gonna be doing, let's see. Possible tower agreement, radio tower agreement with the county. Let's see. OWRB REAP grant application might be on there. The oil and gas road improvement, that grant application may be on there. And that is it so far.
Sidewalks.
Oh, sidewalks and, oh no, PUD's going after that.
PUD's going plan.
Yeah, a sidewalk
Sidewalks.
Ordinance adjustment that gives you guys just greater leeway to make requirements or less than requirements. Just gives you more control and flexibility.
And Nate, that's currently scheduled for the 20th.
Yeah.
All right. Item 17, any new business? If not, we will adjourn.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's call our meeting to order for the Perry Municipal Authority. Have roll call.
Coffee, Bledsoe,
Here.
Marshall, Davis, Goldar, Rupp,
Here.
Williams, O'Shea,
Here.
Wortham.
Here. All right, item 1, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right, item 2. We have no one assembled. Item 5, consider approval of the state ARPA interest earnings grant agreement between the Perry Municipal Authority and the Oklahoma Water Resources Board for state ARPA interest earnings grant number SAI 260005G and the amount of $1.2 million, authorizing the chairman to execute the agreement and all related documents, and authorizing the trust manager to administer the grant in accordance with the terms of the agreement. So it's just moving forward with the OWRP grant.
This is the same thing that we discussed in the city council meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Special thanks to Senator Paul.
Yep. For that.
You know, it's good to be a Peridian when things like this occur.
Yes, it is.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
And Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right, do we have any new business? Seeing none, we will adjourn.
I'm ready.
All right, let's call our meeting to order for the Perry Facilities Authority.
Say that, I can't get nothing. And Coffee, Bledsoe,
Here.
Marshall, Davis, Goldar, Rupp,
Here.
Williams.
Here.
O'Shea.
Here.
Wortham.
Here. Item 1, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Bledsoe,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Item 5, any new business? Nope, adjourned.